It's the real story behind WKRP in Cincinnati's Turkeys Away episode, or Turkey Drop episode as some people call it. I'm John Bowden from nailsheet.com. I loved everything about WKRP in Cincinnati. When it debuted in '78, I'd already been playing pretend DJ in my bedroom for 6 years before. And as much as I loved every episode, it was this one that got me and a lot of other people hooked. Turkeys Away. It all begins with station manager Arthur Carlson, played by the late Gordon Jump, feeling left out when a brand new program director comes to town, Andy Travis, played by Gary Sandy. He starts making changes to their format, so Mr. Carlson decides to prove his worth with a special Thanksgiving promotion, throwing turkeys out of a helicopter, not knowing they can't fly. Clarke Brown, who was a real radio exec who worked on the show, said the whole episode Turkey Drop was based on a real-life experience he had. But there was a big difference in the height. In the real story, the turkeys were thrown from trucks. Unfortunately, the result was pretty much the same. Their staff was ridiculed, much like the WKRP in Cincinnati staff. Brown says WKRP in Cincinnati was based loosely on a station called WQXI in Atlanta. And some of the characters in the show were based on their staff, including Herb Tarlek, Frank Bonner, after himself. He adds, not to that extreme, but I was known for dressing wildly. Every series hopefully has at least one show where everyone is talking around the water cooler, and Turkeys Away certainly was that for WKRP in Cincinnati. Tim Reed, who played Venus Flytrap, said they got the script the day before the table read. He says, I think it's the first time in 4 years that we were all ever on time. And of course, the sweet spot in the episode came from Richard Sanders, who played Les Nessman, who witnessed the turkey's bloodbath, echoing his play-by-play as if it were the Hindenburg. Interestingly, the cast and crew were never sure if the audience would get that Hindenburg connection. Reed said the entire cast sat in a room and actually watched the crashing of the Hindenburg. He says if you watch the original footage and watch Les Nessman, there's actually a lot of similarities, but one of them's funny and one of them not so much. Our program director, Gary Sandy, says this is one of many shining moments from Les Nessman, who was his favorite character, by the way. He says, who could forget Les describing the birds landing and shouting, the turkeys are hitting the ground like bags of wet cement. And our Venus Flytrap, Tim Reed, says it was the hardest of all the episodes they taped for the cast not to burst out laughing. In the end, Mr. Carlson comes back to the office with Herb Tarlek looking shell-shocked and delivers that famous line, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. Turkeys Away was the 7th episode of their debut season. TV Guide named it the 40th best episode of any show of all time. A few side notes, series creator Hugh Wilson says, the character of Johnny Fever was based on a guy I knew in Atlanta called Skinny Bobby Harper. He had to get up at 4 in the morning to get there, but he also loved being at bars at night, just like Fever. So he tells Howard Hessman how to play Johnny Fever, telling him, you're going to be sleepwalking into the radio station. I've been in broadcasting since 1979, been in radio since 1983, and I've worked with guys like this. And even though modern radio might not be as chaotic as WKRP in Cincinnati, it's also certainly not as fun. The program ran from September 18th, 1978 to April 21st, 1982. The same production company, MTM Enterprises, created a sequel spin-off series called The New WKRP in Cincinnati. It featured some of the same characters, including Gordon Jump as Arthur Carlson, Frank Bonner, Herb Tarlek, Richard Sanders as Les Nessman, and Lonnie Anderson as Jennifer Marlowe. And a few times Venus Flytrap and Johnny Fever made guest appearances. That new series ran from 1991 to 1993. Make sure you comment on our videos and subscribe to our channel. We'll also check out your videos. I'm John Bowden from nailsheet.com.